happened. I've just previously been, I'm going again in this insistence. I've just recorded and tried to aspect within a reasonable insistence of language that does not include expletives per a non-testimonial and aspect of impact, a victim's impact statement. And I don't see the stream, and it's making me a bit worried of this aspect because there's been multiple aspects of TPC code injections, of which there is literal trace hopping of my device. This means that from the account that I'm using, the information is being flagged before it even hits the aspectual stream, so that it shows as zero, or that it does not aspect to collect, where you guys would see that there is a video that's up, but there's no activity to press it. This is from the man-in-the-middle attacks that go on with my device per the organized criminal activity enterprise that I'm aspected. As I've stated in the live, if I see the stream, I'm aspectually being targeted by family members, by persons that are named within. If you go into some of the past lives, I have a video. It's the one that's about an hour long. I list the entirety of names that could be plausible aspects if they're not involved. They literally have been infiltrated by conspirators that are giving the boyfriend or girlfriend experience or aspecting. And this is a technique that is used by traffickers or human trafficking aspects, so as to inundate persons that are within my life, or for example your life. That could be your brother, sister, friend, other acquaintanceships, so as to inundate them and make no aspect for you to inherit any type of help from these types of people, or any encouragement or any interdispersion further than the literal sabotage. This is also an insistence of stalking under that statute, which insists upon life invasion, sabotage, and attack. The claim and insistence is to sabotage these life connections so that you have nowhere to run, have nowhere to go, have nobody that could support you, so that you're pushed more so out into the infringement of society, or your normal social structures. It's to keep you running away. These are also aspects that are used in money laundering, such as in embezzlement or fiduciary misallocations, when these persons have literally infiltrated life segments and they are trying to scatter yourself. In money laundering, you would try to use many different types of banks, or it put the money into many types of different systems, and or go over state lines, so it becomes more and more traceless, even though it's not. Because if you were trying to commit a crime, you would never use technology, but to literally aspect so that they're not found out. And everyone that's an observer, I appreciate your observing aspects, although this is for my aspect of victims impact statement and an insistence upon some judicial review per the prosecutor's aspect. And in the insistence that I have aspected, and continuously in aspects of combinations of schemes, which include starvation tactics, which include relegating and holding jobs away from myself. When people ask, why don't you just go work? I can't. Throughout the insistence, such as life invasion, sabotage, and attack under stalking, these persons are inundating. The persons are on the cell towers that are inactive per your cell phone device ID, your Mac ID address that you use to enact any web browser history. And cyber stalking is the same statute as stalking, of which these persons have integrated, and literally they follow you around the city, around wherever you're going, so as to aspect where you're going to be, where you are going to find a job through your web browser history. They know what you're looking up, what you're intending to look up with your resume may aspect to go into the intended aspectual spheres of these types of enclaves and disperse themselves into these environments and literally inundate administrators. That these are people act, and then if you become party, literally coordinating with these persons enacting enterprise, you are literally aspecting that, acting under administration, or aspecting that you can't even go into police aspectual realms. They go to police officers and all sorts of enforcement and inundate their personal life. They know where these people personally hang out, and these interdispersed persons are very much privy of the aspects of what they are doing. And the they also includes anybody that has aspected to go and work anywhere that you're working, and they're enacting oral interception or unlawful interception in this type of way by passing along information to the principal and lieutenant perpetrators that are literally heading the organized criminal activity. That's with more than three people. With two people, it's a conspiracy, but in my case, it is organized criminal activity, which moves the statute of the insistent, which it is stalking up the degree. And these persons have literally forced me out of my habitation. They forced me out of my place of habitability while still maintaining my security alarms and like a fool and not enacting that these pings still do operate. And when your device pings off of my cellular or off of my security alarms, it's still going to register where you have been. An enactment of, just like I said, these persons are also using people with mental distortions or mental disabilities and learning disabilities as enacted by their educational aspect as being special ed, and or by enacting any insistence that has to do with people that have MHMR files within this state. My responsibility is not to take care of anybody in my family's children. It is not to take care. Yes, alien. It is not to take care of anybody's, your liaisons, your romantic liaisons. I do not understand for the life of me some of the people that enact, and you know that you're going through your different aspects of life and you deal with somebody that's broke. How in the hell are you having sex with somebody that is broke just because you are wanting a good time? You are, when you're a grown person, you should be able to, you don't need experiences in this type of way. You need to develop your experiences in college or earlier and get over them so that you can take care of your children. If the man that you're aspecting is broke and has you participating in fraud, and you know that you have aspects with your literal family members or children that are aspecting as some sort of insistent that requires more custodial input, then you need to put that man out of your house until they can go get a job that's in their name or aspect. And it's, no one told anybody to get in any sort of troubles. Everyone gets into troubles, but people, they drink, they swallow their own L and they handle their own life. When your man and or whomever is literally trying to inundate you with a boyfriend or girlfriend experience so that they can literally aspect the broader aspect of the principal participants of the defendants, so that they are literally inducing my life by using people in my life, and this happens to other people as well, and you can't find anybody that's your mother, father, sister, or brother because they've been enacted and all of a sudden they've met the person of their dreams. Let me tell you something. If something in emotional intelligence, if something is too good to be true, it usually is. You should question it. You don't meet the people out of your dreams from nowhere. It's because you've been aspected to be followed and aspected through predatory actions. When you are at work, people are paying attention to what you do, what you like. That's why they are cyber stalking you, looking at your web browser history, what you look at, what you find, looking at your social media to find whom you are liking, commenting on, find hot and find not. They induce those people to come to you and come to your house, and then they're placing invasive visual spyware and audio bugs that you can get at Fry's or some sort of any store that aspects anything that has a camera, and now it's inside of your house and your restroom, and they're recording your sex acts and anything so that they can sell to the broader network of their particular extremist group or organized group for personal gain, even after you break up and all of a sudden now you're fighting and having all these misunderstandings, quote unquote, from nowhere. And now you have your aspectual content, sexual, intimate matters on the web, but they've garnered that because they been for the aspect tracking myself, and this has been done to literally myself, and it's a tool used for human trafficking to create isolation. It's psychological isolation that's trying to be created, and it's also literal physical isolation from everybody in your life. They're trying to get you to scatter and run out of the state, out of the city, to somewhere where you've not grown up. You don't have an understanding of the layout of that city. So if you were to get in any aspect of literal terror that I have been in literally immersed in for the last 8 years, you have nowhere to run. You have to meet entirely different people, and there's nowhere you can run when you're being stalked. You have to move out the hemisphere. You can't go to the next state. You can't go to the next town. With smartphones in this aspect, every time that you go somewhere, these people have their sets, whomever they speak with. They've been communicating across the nation on Facebook and everything else. And unfortunately, with modern technology, you cannot outrun a stalking ring. You can hide for a certain amount of time, but you damn sure may need witness protection protection, and as in some instances, witness protection can be compromised. So your best bet is to leave the damn country. Excuse me, gotta make sure, be sure. Like it's a little steamy. But enacted of what's going on in my life, I'm having to re-record, and I'm doing this for the aspects of per my wishes for the prosecution, giving examples of what I know to be insisted of the enactment of even the continuation of yeah continuation of what's been going on in my life under the statute of organized criminal activity, which includes fraudulent enactments of using the state's processes to get me constructively evicted out of multiple instances, such as the removal from my place of habitability, where I have a legal right to be and contracted, as well as what's happened over the last 8 years as I'm a Hurricane Harvey survivor and literally have been inundated through complete loss since this date and literal terror. I understand hotel culture very much so, and people who live and go through that experience. My life has never been the same. I have literally been tracked and terrorized through stalking people that are from other states that have enacted per my social media interests of the past, that have literally aspected delusions and aspecting literal psychiatric DSM-5 categories of psychopathy and sociopathy. And it's not stopping. Also under the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, with the infringement of biometric breaches within electronic data tampering into my device, which is particular cellular, and other instances of my security alarms to bypass every time by using the exact insistence of the code of which I use to enter into my habitation, and that still living in my insistences and facilitating putting people that were ex-co-workers inside of where I live. And I mean, literally taking over. They have my damn. They're literally using my blankets, using my weights. I would love to, I would love to lift my weights. He's getting a little bit thin now, like it. And so, what you aspect is that on per your subpoena ducis tecum, then that's overstated. Per the constable to tell who they are, this places the perpetrators in the neighborhood, because every time you use a text message, you call on your phone in that exact area. And what places them directly at the front door are their aspects of fingerprints, which are primary and secondary. Every fingerprint that you have, you may be able to take personal identifying information, and the use of this aspect under 5 items: state jail felony, 5 to 10, third degree felony, 10 to 20, your second degree felonies in this state, and then 20 but less than 50 of the aspects, this is a first degree felony. So there are multi aspects. I don't let any new people in my life. I don't let any new people out, so that I aspect the containment, so that I'm helping investigators help myself to enact an insistence of literally detailing about probable causes of whom to investigate, whom to bring into your insistence and put against each other, and detail about whom out of the aspect are literally engulfing my life, and they to this date have stolen over $50,000. It's $47,000 at the insistence of counting, but continuing, and I'm going to make sure that we round that up to $50,000, and then more per damages because of integrating within corporate structures, which triples those damages. Excuse my eyes, I'm a bit mentally distorted, a bit mentally tired. I literally am stressed beyond the normalcy of what anyone should be every damn day, and I'm exhausted. When you're surviving cancer, sometimes you have your good days, sometimes you have your bad days. Today I feel extremely nauseous. I've taken some, nausea tabs. I've had to. And this was a type of skin cancer. I'm having types of flare-ups and dermatitis from literally being outside of the my place of habitability, safe recluse. That, but for the inundation, it could be tactics of investigators to insist upon swirling around the city, so that it's aspected aggravated criminal trespass upon multiple properties, disrupting the functional flow of a building, enacting terroristic threats, and or using coercion and aspect of force that enact literal measures of assault insist upon assault and battery and the use of other mechanisms such as chemical assaults by inundating and literally using food as a weapon by enacting the most nutritionally dead food as possible. But per my bank metadata aspects that before the inundation before the inundation of the enterprise, I made sure, even if I would eat the same thing every day. I'm kind of the cerebral, and read a book, How to Analyze People. It tells different categories of people, just in like your physical body types of endomorph, ectomorph, all these things about how you should work out. There are aspects about the even physical form of yourself that enacts with the physiology of how you're made. And so within this type, it describes it well. I'm the type that would eat almost the same thing every day. I'm that type that at lunch, when we go, if you're where I'm going to eat the same damn thing every day, but at least it has the micronutrients or some of the nutrients incorporated that are needed for aspectual mitochondrial connections so that I can think well, so that I can literally outmaneuver and outfunction what is, or try to be a step ahead of the perpetrators that have enacted my life with complete terror since Hurricane Harvey, and more notably since 2020, the year of the great stealing, as what happened in October of 2020. And I've aspected with Reliable Bank per my unemployment's being stolen when the president aspected because of COVID, no one could work. We couldn't go anywhere. So, during these times I was working at a restaurant, so I couldn't go back to work. But, I was aspected. I liked where I was at, and these people made sure that, I was okay during the time, and I made sure to continue to remediate my life. But per the good graces of myself putting in work and other people that did not want to work, when I was saving up during this time so that I could, maintain my habitability or insistences in saving up for my house, these people were buying PlayStations and buying Jordans, and everybody loves Jordans and things, but I wasn't buying those at the time. I was more allocating upon the essentials necessary for adult living and functionality outside of where I was at, because I was staying and living with people, because I was literally a wanderer since, I placed out since Hurricane Harvey, where this city is the storm of the century. And many people lost a lot of things, and many people's psychology has not been the same. But I'm not here speaking for many people. I'm speaking about myself for the moment, and as a insistent dialogue of a daily insistent diary about what I go through, because of the criminal enactments that have literally torn my life apart. People that think they are producers, that they make music, they're not even insistent upon the music industry, but they're using aspects of holosonics, aspects of parametric speakers to peer in. And this is just like fire departments can peer into your buildings. If there's a fire, they are able to look in with infrared aspects, detect heat signatures, even inside of the habitability of where I am, where my place of habitability is, and you're insisting upon there, it can detect where a person is in the building, especially if a large object is falling upon them, and even law enforcement if there's something in their pocket and they're outside of the building. These types of technology to do this aspect, things are used in museums to allocate insistent interdispersion of information in regards to art and whatever else. These are to make it more personalized per segment of people. These are parametric speakers that can literally aspect sound frequencies per acoustic arrays in your direction. This can be done per any building, especially if you're sitting by windows that enact laser beam insistences that literally replicate through bouncing off of the any surface the aspects of what you're saying, and whatever insistent and in the middle instrument, even if it's helpful, private investigations, they use this to replicate what you're speaking about, and or use the up some sort of upsurge from your speaker on your phone. And so these are all techniques that have, and I've bought into a lot of these viabilities so that I'm seen as truthful, or to aspect that I can't do a damn thing that is relegated towards freedoms of an adult, because I need to prove the inundation and surplus of the cloud and everything else that's this enterprise that I have aspected and given as names in previous lives. It's more than 20 to 30 in this aspectual insistence, because this is a deployment that has been insisted upon my family members and past acquaintances, and the people that they've had sexual liaisons with, and or other aspectual persons enacting crimes of passion that are literally insisting upon the most criminally aspected instances of forgery, using my name, signing my name, fraud, anything to get benefits, get loans. You know how many and I that things that I have to aspect to get off and freeze per the Trafficking Victims Privacy Act instances, and or the credit debt bondage credit repair act, upon aspects that have been insisted upon getting aspectual money so these people can get loans to take care of their children. How, and again, I'm aspecting, how are you having sexual relationship with men, women, and they don't have a job, or they don't have a way to make money? And so you think that they're hustling, and they're using their normal bodies, their regular bodies, to continue to make content that is not selling sexually. So now these children go to school, and they are at in here at their aspect in a household that has parents that are so situated with sending them to school to use the teachers as babysitters, and literally aspecting to maneuver to follow persons that have had cancer, such as myself, and other people that have other disabling qualities, that are integrated through this multifaceted insistence that has aspected as a culmination of a melting pot within this state, representations of many factors that are inclusive from around the United States, to have the same story of inundation, slavery, and homelessness that are being enacted by persons that are using, connective cell tower instances that can be detailed by investigations and or IC3, and or aspects, so that they can follow and chase people around the nation, so that they can make traceless their crimes, such as an embezzlement and or fiduciary misallocation, so that the money is chopped up per different banks, chopped up per your cash apps, chopped up so that it's not easily detected to whom is aspecting and sourcing the funneling of taking this money through money laundering aspects of enterprise at this lower sex level. I am not going to stop. I've been literally functionally running for my life over the last 8 months. And I've had to do so and place myself. Otherwise, I would be in the woods somewhere. It's of movie proportions what I'm going through. And that's been that way since the damn hurricane. But I thought that things would slow down after I was literally hospitalized with, cancer, having to ask doctors, how long do I have to live? I've had to ask this twice. And I'm sure that these people, because they've not had a life-altering experience, that they continue to predatorily think that life is a summer vacation, or they're so delusionally aspected per the distortion of, brain insistences, even persons that continuously play video games, and it alters the aspectual neural pathways of your brain's activities. And this is a real phenomenon. This is why a lot of aspects are being able to sue, that have children that stay on these video games like this. And these grown people, they are simulating a false reality onto normal, reasonable minded people such as myself and everyone else in Aristotle's court of common minded people, that you think with entitlement, which is an aspect of a mental disorder, through that you deserve someone else's life, and or it's called to covet too. You go to those churches and you learn these damn commandments that some of these false churches are teaching you, and you still can't pick it up. That you think that you deserve someone else's spouse, that you think that you deserve someone else's income tax. That's called fraud. It continues more so with myself and the $50,000 that I would love to be enacted as integrating on the civil side as tortious infliction of emotional distress. I'm totally wiped out. I am totally tired. I am totally angst with the insistence of wondering how I'm going to aspect my life. I'm a grown ass man and I don't have 50 cents in my pockets to buy a lemon, lime, or peach. And I can't do so because people ask, well, why don't you get a job? It's been life invasion, sabotage, and attack. It's not possible for me to get a functional job without the insistences of investigations before your quarterly aspect of true bill roundups. You garner these people so that I can at least function. I don't want to continue to starve. I've already lost 5 pounds in the last 7 days. That's not freaking healthy. I'm not doing marathon running. That's not healthy, especially when my immunity is having to work harder to combat the insistences of why I had to ask doctors, am I going to die? I don't want to have to ask it again. Not while I don't have wrinkles, while we're still in the youth that I am in. That doesn't make it, at least I want to live functionally. I want to have the aspects of what are my Bill of Rights in this Constitution that you call a city within this union that is the United States. And how ironically that these people are celebrating this June 19th thing. It's a, you know, it's a public or a national holiday of some sort of emancipation, of freedom, of people that are, you know, other than European descent. That's not the case. And then it's people that are of not European descent that are still enslaving each other. And now they're eating barbecue and roasting other types of pigs, while, you know, others, such as those that are not European descent, get to look in and see that, you know, there's an aspect of a white man that literally aspected per whatever theatrical stage, you know, play that enacts upon different allegories of what goes on in different fraternal orders, that enacts and plays itself out within the public query, whatever. In this enactment, Abraham Lincoln enacted an insistence of such, and I dare to tell you that these communities are still enslaved, and so they have their own. These are the, and then they go up to the white collar aspects to say that now they want to integrate and live in your attics and start fucking your wives. I'm expletive. You beep. And it's the truth. And this is why administrative violations can go on. And these persons that are in my family and others that are in the acquaintanceship of what I have aspected, and people that have any sexual liaisons with broke men, they literally they think that they're hiding within these businesses. They think that they work in hospitals. They think they work at your job at the administrative office, and that they are literally not being able to have the same crimes, because how can they be stalking if we all work together? How can they be stalking if no one is understanding about, you know, that they're not in your house except for when you are, they've learned your schedule because they're in the administrations and now they're living in your sector. And this is a life invasion, and they think that they're only going to get an administrative error, and they'll use as a byproduct the business as a front shield. So some of you need to understand, about you small business owners and other business people, about who's the liability and going to get your ass sued, because they're going to enact anything that comes against the business at first. But this enact is racketeering once it's in a corporate structure as well. It's not an administrative violation, depending on how outrageous and egregious the acts are and the level of insistent regarding. You never know whom is disabled. They don't have to tell you, or whom is going through something. And then it enacts a third-degree felony. And if it's aspected through investigations that it's more than 3 people at this insistence, and I'm going to tie this motherfucker together, excuse me, but it's enacted as the organized criminal statute in this insistence. And yeah, what's up, Atharva? What's up, Patri or something? But yeah, it's not that these are first degree felonies all around, and only reason, and that's the state's money, and you know that can, in whatever court that this case happens in, it, you know, that priest, that, you know, that jurisdiction gets paid. I'm all for that, but on the civil side, I want per my wishes, if the prosecution should know, it's tortious infliction of emotional distress. It and my liquid damages, my exemplary damages, which enacts above the $250,000 cap, should there within this state, and this is how we get what I've aspected, and people think that it's a game. I've aspected the Supreme Court instances of enactments of Texas versus the NSA. At this point, that was an enactment. The same things that I'm describing, the invasive visual recording, the inundation of taking advantage of people doing natural disasters, such as you people that were enacted in Hurricane Katrina, now I understand. Or persons that are in any enactment that these integrated persons, such as Mardi Gras and everything, every time there's a big event or these things that you have to be dispelled and move persons around the city of where they're not from, this enacts human trafficking. And when you enact anything that visually records someone or coerces the environment, you're coercing how they eat, you're controlling the HVAC systems, you're literally manipulating and breaking them. I've had entire HVAC systems broken in my apartments or during the summer aspects, and I've almost passed out in the damn house and continuously asking the office, can you fix this? And no one will do anything because these people are stealing money and they want you knocked off. And this has been done across multiple facilitations, enacting criminal trespass. And the moment you get and you start enacting with somebody's infrastructure, that's called burglary of a habitation, whether it be commercial or anything else. And these people and these businesses, before the point of admonishment, they can still have their enactments of filing charges should they find out and or not bribed through commercial bribery and or normalcy of bribery. That's the aspectual of insistent crime as well. This is Israel propaganda. Well, God bless them Israelites. I'm not sure they may need to. We may need them and every aspect of the United Nations to come and help my ass. So instruments that are used for spying, you have your Prism, you have your Pegasus, you have your Predator. Even those, if you're using an instrument to help, so that you can aspect a detailed insistence of the viability, because I've called out across the freaking world. I appreciate that, but some people are definitely perpetrating aspects in whatever insistence of bribery. Bribery is the main thing. You're bribing, public servants, police officers, and other things like this, or even agents. Because people know when you're overworked agents. They know when you're overworked nurses and doctors. And they take advantage of this insistence to insist that if you're not dealing with them, then you're going to be at work. And when you are a doctor or nurse, especially these people in hospitals, and they're trying to get personal identifying information. They're trying to get you to log into systems so that you have everything in those, but you have numbers of all sorts. And as I've stated earlier in this video and other past videos, the insistences of what are going into those ways, and I want you to get as many numbers and aspects as possible. All I'm going to do is FTC and make sure that I use the Debt Bondage Credit Repair Act if these acts are facilitated. Now, I've had to record this extra insistence, and I appreciate any observance because I'm not sure what the past video just went. Hopefully there's no electronic data tampering going on. These are facilitations of computer fraud and abuse acts and any enactment of phishing, phishing, so that you are sending spoof emails that enact malicious insistences, or you're taking away information that are so that you can garner addresses, any other identifying information. I'm getting tired of this. I literally just did a 30-minute video, and I'm probably being impatient. I cannot find it, so I had to try to eloquently aspect what I'm going through, because as a grown man, I'm going through absolute chaos, and it's probably much lighter than what it needs to be talked about in this particular segment. But the horrors of what I've been going on is detailed. I'm not trying to be YouTube famous or anything. I would rather much watch you people's content, look at your things. I enjoy watching people's thing and then watching Discovery Channel so I can learn how animals behave in the wild, and how they are still behaving within humans. And no matter how much social context you give these humans, they are still bestial. They enact bestiality, and at some point that was still a crime, along with their sodomy. These people are having their own comments area. That's fine, but like I said, the only 3 people are seeing, but that's not how it is from last night and over the past years, when I've had 20,000 at one time within under 1 hour. It's called electronic data tampering. There's not 3 people. That's only the skew that's allowed to come into the aspect. Do you understand? I have men in the media companies. I have people in my perspective of acquaintanceship and families who've been in entertainment, and people who are acquaintanceship who think that they're porn stars and things like that. You can have as many smiley faces as you would like. I guarantee you, It was somebody that you know that has been sleeping with some man in the media companies of this news station that are literally blocking this aspect or an instances of some sort of enforcement. I'm not worried about the three people. Who are you, Crafter, Hafsa? I'm really not supposed to be talking with anyone, but just so that you have informational aspect, this is for evidentiary prospect within a court insistence so that I can get my settlement money. I'm not worried about people knowing my unpopular son. I've done that in the particular phase of segment of life of which I need to be. And I guarantee you, let me see, do you got a picture up? You don't have a picture up. So you're nobody, let alone 1, 2, or 3, you're nobody. So I don't care about that type of comment when you don't have a picture up. We can't see your face. All we see is smiley faces. And maybe what time is it? Shouldn't you be, you're a normal person. Shouldn't you be at work? Or this is what you do at work? You see? Beware of cyber stalking. I'll have your goddamn IP address traced for insistent harassment, integrating because of what I'm going through as party to this crime. And if you're over state lines, you're going to enact the state you're going to enact the state violations of your state. Plus be aspected per this per the federal aspect. This had much more vexing insistence a while ago. It's just that my video was somehow, let's see if it reappears. There's a lot of magical things happening with the law in this city and that is enacted in the United States. That's a part of an insistent treaty that's aspected per inclusion within aspects of the United Nations and Crafter, Hafsa. I'm sure if you've ever even dated 3 people in your life, like, so check out other lives to insist upon the complete. You can see I'm tired. I'm drained. I'm aspecting different flare-ups. I'm not here being famous. I'm here talking about movie proportion, torture. Organized criminal activity, human enslavement, aspecting. I've treated animals better than what's going on. And I'm not asking for disparate treatment. People have had disparate treatment using my allocations to pay for their children. Using my personal identifying information, working under my name, and then taking the money to pay for yourself and your children, and then pay for places to live, vehicles to drive, and then you can't even live in the places. Let me say, at least if you're gonna get you a place to live in my name, make sure you finish the goddamn course of the lease or whatever you can, because they're not. And then the ones that are trying to get houses and shit, like how in the hell, like. So you understand that there's nothing that can go on much with anybody. What I've aspected is as much infringement, and I don't know. These people you're playing. I don't know. You collecting Easter eggs and you gathering as much as you want to in the basket, like that means that most people can get away with a lot of crime. And there's not a damn thing that can go on. What I've learned is the true aspects of bribery and that prostitution and continuous prostitution. The penal code is it is alive and well. You motherfuckers may as well make this like the red light district. It's literally astounding how many people are so sexually perverse, or you've not had much sexual experience, as Crafter Hasfa has not, and that I'm sure that somebody's whispering in your ear, and you're literally, as a grown person, running and sneaking inside of lodge closets and having this homosexual sex or this deviant sex, and then going back home to your wife and arguing with her, tearing up the house, or talking about you have a lot of work to do, or you're working overtime, and you're inside of the parking lot having sex and sucking dick or something. I was not supposed to go. I mean, you sound very tired. I wasn't supposed to go to those expletives. The last video was a lot more, no bleeds. Using food as a weapon, aspecting again nutritionally dead food, as food is supposed to be medicine, and per aspects of web browser history to use this. Look at the puffy. Chemical assault, slow execution, arterial hardening, non-plasticity of the biomes of your body's many different systems for the purpose of causing what is the number one enactment in the United States, heart disease. Just like hurt enacts hurt. Hurt begots hurt. You're enacting the same insistence. It's not possible to eat McDonald's or anything like that every day. You're going to get heart disease. Or eating food that have, and sometimes we have, but when do a little bit better, especially the more you advance in your age group. Eating food that has so many ingredients on the package, or it's a food product and not actually food. It did not come out the ground and not come off a tree, or it came from so many damn other states than your own region that you can control outside of a natural ass disaster. Being dehydrated, not having an even playing field for chemical processes to take place, like thinking appropriately to make sure that you're not continuously outrunning the enslavers. And I guarantee you, some of you colored ones, they baking all kinds of contaminated chicken and and charring all kind of beef patties in the most enacting all sorts of acrylamide, like it. So I guess choke on that, like artichoke, choke on that. Though they're not eating artichokes, again, since it was 3 people who's aspected, and I guarantee you, I'm not garnered per 3 views as we aspect that's evidentiary claim per these past shorts or anything. I guarantee you there is interference, which I am aspecting to be tracked again per IP addresses, per the insistence of cell tower aspects of. You can do cell site simulation about whom is in the area. I'm not exactly sure what is the job of some enforcement as well. And there is, I mean, my case should have been allotted for a long time ago. Cases. Look how we still sit on zero, bitch. They're trying to suck the fuck. Whose dick are y'all sucking? Which Michael is it? Or you said Samuel, like it. Oh, Sam and Carrington, like it, or Carrington and Natalie. What? Some of these people that work in private buildings under that type of security. I mean, it is a job, I guess. It's not with the state. And they've not submitted any fingerprints to the FBI, and they're still working. That's an administrative violation and fine as well in this state. Councillor Paxton and Governor Abbott. Oh, I'm sorry, it's DPS. DPS. I'm not the ombudsman, but I can be. You can. I would take that check. I really would. and will and can. Evidence, though this clicker sits on zero, it's to create psychological isolation. This only happens with organizational genius and inclusion with persons that are in administrations and in enforcement aspects. If you're in Club Houston anywhere, getting your dick sucked at any time on these are on Travis Street. And I don't have any problem with people in Club Houston, but some of you, if you're going to operate in some sort of espionage, to tell these professional motherfuckers who are in there perpetrating, and because they're going to use you and try to kill your ass like all these damn transphobic and homophobic aspects are, and then people don't know that they're homosexual, and they have like they obviously look it. That's the reasons why your wife did not know that you fucked men. And I'm done now. They fuck men, and it's no problem with people that fuck. Because some people the stuck up ones, they're great people. I know every damn body. They dress great, they smell great, but they're trying to use them, and after they use them, they want to kill them. Like I have a problem with them. The fence sitting cowards. That's what I have a problem with. Yeah, I guess let's end this. So only the three people that were allowed to come in half saw can like put out their misery, right?